GAB.ai.
Yes, GAB.ai. Absolutely.
Yeah, odd. I was thinking like artificial intelligence. I wonder what
Yes.
AI is.
Me too.
What is that?
I don't know.
Needs to figure that out and send
Yep,
it
we
to us.
do.
Yeah, so this is a new social media site. Popped up like 6 months ago, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, it was featured on the
Oh,
InfoWars.
I believe it's actually been up for 9 months.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been
Yeah.
up. Yeah, I mean, it's still new. I mean, it's a new,
Yeah,
new
it's
thing.
new.
Probably the newest social
In its
media.
infancy,
site
when
that's
you're 9
going,
months old,
yeah.
you're still a little itty bitty baby.
And what it is a place for, according to them, freedom of speech. It's like it functions like a Twitter. It's hashtag driven. The interface is very Twitterish. And essentially they don't have, or they originally didn't have censorship rules.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're seeing some of that called into question, and obviously that was going to be challenged. So now I guess we'll see what happens. But so it was founded by this guy Andrew Torba, who was a tech engineer, some sort of techie down in Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he was I guess a Donald Trump supporter.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically kept it a secret. I guess he was also a religious person and a Trump.
I believe he's Christian and a Trump supporter,
yeah.
and
so
even,
he basically was surrounded by
mm-hmm.
Trump hating anti-Christians.
Yeah, he was in a hostile environment.
He was in a hostile environment. Yeah. So if I guess for the sake of his job, he kept that secret. I guess up until towards the end of the election, he comes out and basically, as what he is. And according to his side of the story, they totally ostracized him, started basically
Makes perfect sense.
hazing him and stuff like that. According to their side of the story, he was always kind of like a troll. He was basically insubordinate the whole time
Because
so
he has independent thought.
Maybe
that's unpopular,
right.
and therefore you're considered a troll because.
Right. Yeah, I mean we don't really know, but I mean yes, he came out of it with this idea to create a safe place for I guess initially in his own situation for the alt-right, not really the alt-right, maybe it was the alt-right, but I think more outspoken of the conservative party.
A place where you could truly have freedom of speech, I guess.
Yeah.
Was this founded for?
It was. Well, I mean, again, you can't really, we don't know what Andrew Torba, his intentions, other than what he says. But the general fuel that was feeding this fire was more or less directed towards the far right on social media, which was very, incendiary on Twitter and Facebook. We see it now, they're posting things about Hitler and trolling people, swastikas, pro-Trump, all this kind of stuff. People that were violating the terms and service censorship of Facebook and Twitter, mainly Twitter. But not they're the same. I think he's a Twitter guy. I'm a Facebooker. But yeah, it clearly, because of who populated it initially and everything that's happened since, it's largely been populated by the right side of the spectrum politically. It's not so full of hippies.
No,
or
it's definitely
weirdos,
not.
Well, weirdos, but
weirdos.
Not really. You don't get a whole lot of like anti-Trump or pro-Hillary.
No.
Not that it's censored on there. As you just the population that currently inhabits that space seem to be a bit lopsided. But they've started this thing up.
Can you elaborate on the lopsided part? What do you mean?
Just in the
that it's heavy on one side.
The demographic
Okay.
is far more right leaning than left.
Okay.
But I'm not sure that it doesn't appear that that's built in any sort of way. It's not an algorithm. That's not part of the design. Yeah. It's just more or less that this right winger set it up, and it was populated initially with people that had been banned and censored off of Twitter and were outraged and grouping together in this common cause.
Conservative Christians
Yeah, primarily.
Primarily, yeah. And but you know what? There's some really smart people on Gab though. Some open-minded people. It's an interesting mix of people. It really is.
Yeah, I mean they're not stupid.
It's definitely
people
no.
I mean
there
are
some
not. Stupid people.
Well, yeah, but I mean most of
yeah.
these people are quick. They know what's going on. You know, they're keeping up with things. They're not just talking out their asses, and some of them are.
Yeah, there always are a few idiots, but yeah, and you know I really haven't, you know, because all my trolling. Not all my trolling. 70% of the trolling that comes against me is left wing. And it's basically intellectual idiots as opposed to idiot intellectual. I don't even know what the hell I gotta come up with a good term for that. Irrational religious people.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a whole lot of trolling in the community so far.
No, not too much.
Not you know the common stuff. Yeah, not there's just there's just not a whole lot of adversity in there so far.
Well, this is the whole.
You got people that come in and troll them. Basically, it seems like most of the trolling is actually coming against the actual platform.
Yeah.
Basically, challenging censorship. So you got people like these people that are creating accounts, left wingers and stuff that
like
come in to troll or to do like recently pedophilia rose up. So you had certain accounts that were going around like promoting freedom of speech for basically like pedophilia. And you know when I went and looked at the main one that I saw that came across my feed, it was it just seemed it was trolly. It was it was like pedo. When you looked at it, it appeared to be anti-pedo. But there were others as well that were coming on basically and talking. So it was I guess they've said you can't just come on here and talk about.
Yeah, we're not gonna have that. Yeah, he's made that clear that they're not gonna have that, which I'm really happy about.
The first level of censorship,
but that's what it is. Yeah,
is I would say necessary. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean you have to have law and order in society. You can't. Total anarchy gives the sick-minded among us,
unfortunately,
the same authority and power to execute their free will as everyone else. And we all have free will, but we keep it constrained into certain areas. Can't kill, can't steal, all that kind of stuff.
I was glad. I'm
yeah.
Quite
So
happy.
I mean, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. It was just like we're, but at the same time, it was fuel to the fire for the left wing as well as like the people on his own side that are like, well, is it really freedom of speech?
Well, it is, but overall it really is freedom of speech. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say to people and they can mute you. Like if you don't want to deal with somebody, if they have gotten on your nerves, you click that mute button and
yep, they're gone.
Bye.
Yep.
So
you can set up different groups in there. So like when you go on to twitter.com, you just see your Twitter feed of all basically whoever you're following. But on here, you just go on there and they have all these different, so you can like set up a category of people so that, you can have like your alt-righters in a box and you can have your liberals in a box. And you can go on and basically just look at a certain feed. I haven't used that feature, but it is built in, and it's something that I know I've noticed that the administration uses a lot because I guess they've got a lot of people coming in. So
I really wish there were, and maybe there are, because I guess there were almost 200,000 people on. I don't know, this morning I believe. What was that, like 187,000? I don't know. Anyways, but like I don't feel like I wish there was just like there's this artistic element of Gab that's missing for me, and it's like not only the community that like you just because you want to make connections, you're trying to connect.
It's more of a religious culture. It's more of like a religious, like living in a religious state would be, as opposed to living in a liberal democracy.
Yeah.
So it's the democracy of religion, but it's still like very devoid of. I mean, you go on like our Facebook feeds. I see art all the time. I mean, art, music, culture. It's all politics. All. I wouldn't say all, but largely. on that level.
Yeah, that's basically. I mean, even you go in they have tabs, I guess, on the left side of the page, where art, philosophy, news, so on and so forth, where you can like go in and that's all you'll see, which is really cool. But again, like I believe there's one person on there. I think they're Gomez and is something at Gomez. An incredible artist, and like I've seen his work. I haven't really seen anybody else's work. If you do post like original art up there, it doesn't seem like very many people see it. Or maybe it's just, hey, nobody's
Yeah, they
liked.
just don't care about art.
Yeah.
or they just don't see your feed, maybe. I don't know.
But that's not even a big
Yeah.
deal. That's not because
Yeah.
like it's still new. It's still in its infancy. I think the issue.
When I put art up on Facebook, half the time nobody
or
likes it
YouTube for
either.
that matter, or
Yeah.
anything you put up, like That's, yeah,
You
neither
don't
here
like
nor
it.
there, really. That's kind of a personal problem, I guess, right?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm venting. Anyways, I like GAB. I like the people on GAB.
Mm-hmm.
They're really nice. They're really warm. I will say this: you can these people, even if they are conservative Christians, I'll say these people these are like open-minded people who, if
They
you
seem
do
more
post
mature,
something,
yeah.
if you say something, like they don't lose their shit over it. Like if I post something about abortion or psychedelics or just kind of maybe out there topics that people don't necessarily agree with, especially conservative Christians. They're not hate mongering people.
Yeah, it's a very mature. Even when they
A
troll,
very
it's a mature trolling. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's adult.
It's
oriented.
adult. This is a very
Yeah.
adult environment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you're,
Yeah.
I don't know, I shouldn't say that. It's an adult environment. If you're looking for
I totally
intellectual
agree.
conversation with people and having, I mean, really and truly,
you can get a little bit further.
You can talk
although
to these people.
I do. Let's get to some of the just functional.
Okay, back to
aspects
the
of it,
look of it. I have to
because
say that. Yeah.
there are some things like that. Like, it's very Twitter, and I don't like
And I don't
Twitter
like
for that part of like conversating. The comment box is the way you can just go to a thread and like have conversations on Facebook.
I will say this in his defense. I believe he said that he is going to have messaging. It's just not up
and they
yet.
do have. They already have them. Messaging like IMing,
like a
Okay.
IM message thing. I believe. Okay.
Well, they do have it already for the pro members. And they call them, I guess, group chats or something. But like,
Okay.
if you're a pro member, you can create them. And I have not played with them. We've used it, I think, once. We've sent a couple. It works. It works like an IM. But if you're a non-paying member, you don't have access.
Can you
to
set
that.
up separate ones for each person?
I mean, I think if you're a pro, you can set up as many group chats as you want, but there is
Okay.
a limit to the amount of people you can put in one at a time. I don't know if that'll be lifted later. Again, this is like very beta stage. This is still a very young.
I wish I could
Technology.
customize my page a little bit more.
That's what, and we were talking about that earlier.
Wish I could customize
like, let's go back to the option of MySpace.
Some people might be dying hearing that, but yeah, I'd like the HTML,
to
like
do
being
some
able to
coding.
customize my page and doing
more
coding.
customization, like, and we were, that's the whole thing. Like, we were talking, like, if you were to build something like a CSS, HTML, whatever the it is now, because we learned so much from MySpace. It was more. It taught you. There were. You got engaged with your
Yeah,
MySpace page.
you
It was
really
very
cared, yeah.
personal, whereas
And that's what you want. Like you want when you can make something that personal. People are going to it every day. You're addicted because it's personal, and you're checking on it. It matters. It's personal. And yeah, that would be cool if I don't like the aspect of like posting a picture of myself or of a moment or anything. And like it's a stream that disappears eventually. I wish that I could have things that represented me and my story, whether it's a political statement or an artistic one. But I would like for that to kind of be permanently on my page if I put it there.
Right.
I'd like the
Instead
option.
of scrolling down through
Exactly.
your timeline, so that you just push it to the bottom after 3 or 4 posts. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you, and like it's so because I remember when we switched over from Facebook or from MySpace. Well, MySpace basically kind of closed, as it were. It just kind of dried up, and everybody switched.
Hey,
over
remember
to
Mi
Facebook.
Gente
The
and
first
Black
time I went
Planet?
in there, it was just like, my God, Facebook. I mean, I can't even see how I can get into this. It took a while for me to like get over the conformity of it. Just like everyone's page looks the same, like everyone, like everybody has the exact same experience.
You know what Gab kind of reminds me of in a way? Of like Drudge Report.
It does have it's the simplicity of it, yeah. And that's not bad. I mean, that is very functional. But also, like, I don't know. There's that whole other aspect of it that's missing. Like, the Drudge it's great. That's why I was saying, like, if you already have this platform, the Twitter platform, the hashtagging, which is great for that fast flow of, like, information, the Drudge style, like clicking a link, clicking it, just seeing text, not seeing a whole bunch of other gibberish all over the place. That is functional. Why can't you just have a button? Because there are, how hard can it be just to, like, from the user standpoint, be able to click a button that turns off your ability to see everybody's coding. So you just go down to the strip down to the GAB, literally like we see it now. Like, you go to everybody's page, it's the same. You just see their profile pic and their header. Those are basically their only customizations. But unless you turn it off, you can see whatever they've personalized there, because you're giving you, like, basically a subdomain on the system. I'm the kernel, so I've got, like, GAB.ai / the kernel. And that's my little page there, So why not bring that back? It was just really.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun. That's what it was. It was fun.
And it gave the whole social media a whole other side that, like, you could be engaged in it without having to be on the other side of it. Now you're going on. It's all about politics and getting into debates and all this kind of stuff, which is fine.
Which is cool, but you know what?
But what if I just want to go on and, like, work on me? Work on my profile. Like, let's do some art, some online art. And it brought out that and anybody that got on it. So whether you were an artist or not, like, you learned some sort of little code snippet just because, like, you saw something, I was like, I gotta do that, or you wanted a picture or something. And you expressed yourself in a way, and I think
it allows people to flex their mind artistically.
As Gab seems to be, as far as the culture, the art, like, that would just be a way to kind of institute it, like, naturally, like, create it on all
and have
sides.
people kind of flow in so that
and
you
again,
have a balance.
You don't want to see that crap. If you're one of these people, it's like, I can't stand that. Just go to your settings, push a button, and all you see is the base Gab infrastructure. And you don't have to be bothered with all that crap. You can see the scroll through timeline as you desire. Now, again, I have no idea how that would technically be pulled off, but I can't imagine it's that much harder than all the technical work they're doing to create these systems to begin with. I mean, it was the first one was HTML code. So, I mean, like, it doesn't have to be HTML. I mean, there's new stuff. I mean, teach the masses a new type of code, whatever's going on now,
so that they can customize their pages.
Yeah, and learn a little bit of fucking CSS, PHP, whatever all it is.
I mean, that would be really beautiful, especially, like, if this is, like, it feels like this is supposed to be a movement of the people, and this is about love and people.
There's more
and
to
freedom of speech
than just political speech.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
There's expression as well.
There's artistic expression, exactly.
Like personal identity. Like, I feel like Facebook strips us of personal identity, and Twitter strips us of it. That's what you work so hard on those few things you've got, your header and your profile pic, and basically what you populate it with, scrolling through that timeline. But, like, other than that, like, your shaved head, same green uniform, and you all look the same. It's Facebook, just Twitter. MySpace was like, you had no idea. Like, you get on, you could tell so much about a person.
Yeah, man, because people, like, I remember my sister and me, man, we put that code in. We had, like, flashing hearts and flowers and
you could tell somebody
sparkles. And, I mean, you spent hours putting all that code together because it had to be just right, or, like, your image wouldn't show up. And, man, it was a labor of love, and everybody was so proud of it. And, your family was all impressed, like, you made that. And, you were growing and learning this stuff, and it was like a service to humanity, flexing that muscle like that. And yeah, I miss that. And like you said, just imagine that's why you go to people's pages, to see, like, their story, a piece of their story, and for people to just be able to go in there and put that code in there and create their artistic masterpiece that represents them, their online identity, their avatar. People love that shit. And
They
I
damn
think
sure
that
do.
would
I love
attract
it.
everybody else. Like, oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
Then now Gab is fun because
Yeah,
right now
'cause
Gab
now
is
it's
really
just Twitter.
political.
It's just uncensored Twitter right now.
Uh-huh.
And Twitter already, I feel like Twitter's already kind of going the way of the dodo. And, it might just be on
Yeah.
the first part of that curve. But there's going to be a new
And
thing.
Facebook, they're talking about how, billions of those profiles are maybe not billions, millions.
Yeah,
okay.
millions.
I'm sorry, y'all.
The robots.
They're
Or
robots.
Or just
They're
fake
fake-
secondary third
yeah.
accounts you use to stalk your ex-girlfriend. Just like complete bullshit.
So
And
like
then
we already know,
advertisers are
like
buying
people
that
call it,
space.
the internet ghetto. So like we get that. Okay, that's phasing out. People are getting tired of that. They're getting annoyed. So now let's do something. You've already done something fresh that's attracting all of these free thinkers. Let's add that beautiful element. Everybody likes beauty. Let's be able to create that ourselves and like create our identities
Let's
online.
make the internet colorful again.
Yes, let's make it pretty.
Yeah.
Let's make it pretty.
And I think that's why we're seeing the Facebook starting to implement these color mime backgrounds and stuff. As
Yeah, they're
part of
even
that,
doing it.
The fact that maybe even they're realizing that there is a very crucial artistic aspect of the platform that's not been monetized,
In all
which
things and
somebody
all
is
branding.
going to do.
Yes.
If they don't get to it first.
I hope Andrew
And I hope they don't
does.
get to it first, because I don't like Facebook, I don't like Zuckerberg, and I don't like the personality of it.
Exactly.
It's a dark spirit.
I like the Andrew Torba guy. He seems really nice. He seems personal. He talks to you. You can, ask him questions. He's going to address them. He's going to, he talks to you. How many
he does. There's
how
like
many
600,000
CEOs
accounts now on this thing.
talk to you?
And he gets on and does chats, and he responded to us by name. He answered one of our questions and answers everyone else on there, addresses concerns.
He reads your comments, and if he genuinely likes it, he likes it. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. So he's like an authentic guy. He's reading this stuff. He's engaged, and that was really cool to be able to feel like you could reach out and touch the CEO and have a one-on-one, and you could ask him a question, and he's going to answer it. That's awesome. He gives updates, and those are live, so you can that's.
Yeah, no,
That's
it is.
cool.
Now, some of the drawbacks, so for us, like for Gonzo Today, or Gonzo Today TV, GTTV, we are primarily broadcasters and on the broadcasting end of the social media. So they have live streaming built into the platform. It's something that, at least when we came on, was actually being advertised, at least on the people talking. But which, when I got there, is not actually available. There's a few live feeds that happen. It's like it looks like there's some sort of schedule, and there's maybe only like 3 or 4 a week, and it might have picked up a little bit. I've not been on there for the past couple of weeks.
Well, I guess
very
I'm under the
much.
impression it's just so expensive to do that they're
That's the thing.
having to like
It's bad. They
decide.
have some serious financial constraints because they're trying to keep this They do not want to be compromised, because that's where censorship becomes crippling on a company like this. Is because like once you get the advertisers and you become dependent on that money for your operating capital. When your product, or what some people are saying, are not consumable to those advertisers, you are then forced to change your terms and conditions to censor them in order to keep getting that advertiser's money. And so that's what happens. Eventually, you're trying to please everybody, and that's impossible.
Yep.
And in the meantime, no one can speak freely. So his solution seems to be to do a pro, basically a 2-tier system. So you've got the free version, which is basically like Twitter. I would say basically the same functionality there. And then a pro membership, which is like $4 or $5 a month right now. I think they're talking about maybe making like a Netflix charge, but and then donations. And on the pro membership, you currently don't get the live streaming, but apparently that might be one of the live streaming features. You get the ability to use the IM system, the instant messaging system, create IM groups. You get apparently you get some increased analytics, although I haven't really found them. It's in terms of like like the popular hashtags and things like that. What I see as a pro member seems to be exactly what I see as not a pro.
I see.
And then now they've added on, unlike Twitter and the GAB free, you get a much larger word limit. So now you can write like Facebook style posts
That's really cool.
instead of being limited to a tweet.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's nice. I still I haven't utilized it again because we need
I don't think I've seen anyone utilize it.
the live streaming. I've seen I've seen the longer posts. People are writing longer posts.
Are they? I guess
I know
just
Andrew
don't.
Torba has written one or two at least that were
I haven't.
over the 300 word limit.
Maybe
or
I
whatever
just
it
need
was
to get
before.
some more. I need to follow some. I'm following a lot of people. Is that? I'm thinking. Isn't that how you populate your thread, like based on who you follow?
It's one of the ways, either that or cult of personality, or viral content. I mean, the standard procedure, if you're unknown, would is to make yourself known by introducing yourself to people, following them. So yeah, I mean that is.
I
That's
look
just
at
some sort of
people's stuff.
celebrity.
I read it and I listen to it and or go to the links. There's some writers on. That's what I really enjoy. I think that's what I enjoy the most. That this GAB.ai has writers, people that like write their own articles and.
That's cool.
And
Is Gab doing that? Is that just are they just using the platform?
They're just using the platform to promote their work, which is just great because
really cool.
it's just alternate perspectives that you don't normally see because you can't find this stuff when you Google. You just you're
and
limited.
even though they can post a lot of it on Facebook, like they algorithm it out, like it just doesn't. It doesn't go out to all the people. They don't see it in their feeds.
So that's really cool. I enjoy that. And you find, I found like we have far more similarities oftentimes with people than we're aware of.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. That's nice.
Now, what about the media, though? Okay, let's address that as the final topic on this because when I heard about this through the InfoWar people.
Yeah,
And
Alex Jones.
I think the Paul Joseph Watson interview with
GAB.ai.
Yeah, I don't.
You
Yeah,
gotta go there.
Yeah, Paul Joseph Watson. Yeah. But again, of course, that's a particularly. I don't even know. I wouldn't even call it right wing. I'm not sure, but it's a particular category in a lot of people's minds that automatically gets put in a box.
Man, I told my mom I listened to Alex Jones, and she got, so you're listening to him? I was like,
we listen to literally everybody.
Yeah,
There's
do.
no one that we
There's
don't
no
listen,
we don't listen to
in order to keep up with what's going
Alex
on.
Jones,
And Alex
Young
Jones has
Turks,
been one to me since early probably 99, 2000. It was just around whatever. And listen to the Young Turks, listen to CNN, listen to MSNBC, listen to Fox. Listen to I will listen to anything, because basically, how else can you
YouTubers,
talk to people? Because everybody is in a category and everybody is in a cult.
Less known and
so
some
you've
unknown.
got to be familiar with what Alex Jones is talking about because you're going to come across somebody who that's what they're receiving. That's all they're receiving. Like they take that very seriously, and if you're going to engage them, you have to be able to speak that language.
Exactly.
And it's the same with people that listen to the Young Turks. You have to listen to you have to watch that because that's information that's going out. And like we talked about last night on the piece about, wisdom and understanding, all that, there's pieces of gold, there's gems of truth in every deception.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, if your goal is to put all the pieces together, the best way to do it is to just look at the big picture instead of taking one news media. You'll find out more just by looking at how all of them are reacting. When some far right cover-ups happening, you'll see a certain gearing of Fox and all of these different little Rush Limbaugh and Alex Jones and different people all kind of moving a certain way. Bill O'Reilly, Tucker Carlson. And then you'll see the left side pump out a certain way as well, because they know they've got something, and they're on the blood trail, and then vice versa. So you can really see it, but you can't see it if you already have a opinion on the matter. If you already have like decided what I guess
you believe already.
Greta Van Susteren said, or whoever your hero is on there.
That's all there is to it, and that's all I need to know. And you're wrong, because this is what I know is the truth.
And then when you lay some truth on them, you get some facts. They rebel for a minute, and then like eventually, and then when you throw more facts, they literally just go away.
Yeah.
They will not engage. They will not give you a true response. Eventually, they will not. They can't. It's odd how it happens. It's relieving in a lot of ways, because a lot of times it's like I hope this person isn't going to fight for too long.
I mean, it's sad. It's sad to me that people allow their ego to get in the way of, considering that maybe you're wrong. I'm always willing to consider I'm wrong. And I think if people would get their ego out of the way, then, they could probably grow just a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my ego's always in the way of me.
The ego's always there, but there's got to be a point where, like, if you're listening to someone who's saying something rational and logical and it makes sense.
Yeah, you have to. You might
like,
not concede to it because of ego in that conversation.
Yeah.
But you have to think about it that night as you're laying there right before you fall asleep. If it doesn't fit, if it makes something that you've preconceived suddenly feel like it's.
Yeah.
It doesn't sit right.
Maybe.
Don't ignore it. Don't. That's like that's potentially a revelation for you. Some life-changing experience. Like, what are you afraid of? You're scared of heaven and hell, Jesus, or Satan, or the Illuminati, or the reptilians, or some things, or are is it programming, or is it just like you don't want to grow?
It's like people aren't allowed to scrutinize their beliefs
internally, because you're in this guilt complex. It's fear-based.
So the minute you hear someone else say something that's different, you have to completely and utterly reject it, especially if you're in religion, because to consider such is evil.
It's evil, and it's totally destruction of your own ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally
and it would mean that everything that you believed was wrong. And coming out of a cult, I can say this. I definitely understand what it's like to all of a sudden realize that everything that you believe, stood for, and have been living for is completely wrong, and how life-shattering and breaking that can be for somebody's soul and just being. All right? So I get it, but there just comes a point where you have to push through for the sake of humanity. I'm sorry.
You're right, though. That is true. Yeah. But anyway, where did we get? How did we even get off?
Sorry.
No, it was excellent. GAB. We went on the right place. It was just, that again, that we're talking about essentially the types of conversations they're having nowadays, and to go back to GAB, to segue into GAB. The promise of it would be that you can really do that. Whereas right now you can potentially get banned, or and I'm talking about maybe more on like a deeper level of debate, of topics, of things like racism, sexual things, all sorts of whatever it is, the real issues of society. And then maybe even like stuff like religion, that are very sensitive and people are very passionate about, which really Facebook and Twitter don't want. That doesn't work. That's not helping them. It's counterproductive. They're all about
why it's
advertisers.
Counterproductive, but why advertisers don't like it? Because what happens when you inject these unpopular beliefs and ways of thinking? Okay, it affects people emotionally, and they shut down, and then they utterly reject that platform because it's a source of stress.
Yeah, it's really. Yeah, I mean, you can hear.
Because
There's some people when you hear them talking about like they quit Facebook or something. It's like
it
they've
affect their
quit like
lives.
heroin.
Yes.
Like
They
it's
were
like
going
it was
crazy
making
over
me
it.
sick, or
Yes.
you know, I was like it was destroying my life, my
Mhm.
relationships.
Mhm. That's the problem. So they can't allow that. I mean, so you can't think. No
Mhm.
independent thought. No, 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 no. We can't have that.
Yeah, but then I guess then the question becomes, well, how do you then create a safe place for that sort of really the dark side of the First Amendment, which
I
also
think
is
this
the
place
most
is,
relevant
though.
side in most ways.
I think it is. So far,
But how do
it's
you do
proven to
it
be.
and also make it a happy place?
You add beauty to it visually, and you give people, you know.
So you're saying balance it with the culture, basically.
Yes.
Allow an equal amount of flourishing of like identity and the art and all that kind of stuff.
Precisely.
Yeah, I do. I think they really need to. If you go to like Google right now, I don't even know what exactly it says, but it does not look good. So I'm going to Google GAB.ai. I'm just going to Google. Let's see, GAB. If I can't because it keeps auto-filling
Takes you
GAB.
right there.
All right. So the first one is the GAB.ai official site, free speech for everyone. And then the second one is Gab, the alt-right's very own Twitter, is the ultimate filter bubble. The group calling itself the alt-right, which is really another word for white supremacists. Any moderation looks like censorship. Their anger at being supposedly sidelined, etc.
That, you know, they're not. I'm sure there are white supremacists there, but you know,
Then you have Wikipedia.
there's other people there too. You know.
You have Twitter, which has an actual decent tweet there. The latest tweets from Gab now open. Gab is a social network that empowers creators, supports free speech, and defends the free flow of etc. But then you get into all of the things. It actually looks like it's cleaned up a little bit compared to what it was. Social site Gab attracts far-right users who feel sidelined by something. This is NPR. Criticized for being affiliated with the alt-right. Social site Gab now reports 170,000 users. Has found an niche among conservatives. The next one is a Breitbart article. And then Wiktionary. So they have actually they've gotten a little bit cleaned up, but pretty much what you look if you go down and then you start going through all the stories, it's cast as like Nazis over there. Like it's full of fucking Nazis.
Definitely not full.
Like it's not
of
for you
Nazis.
to go in there. Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
mean,
there are
some there, but gee whiz, there's a shitload of them on Facebook and Twitter. I mean, that's the whole reason like a lot of people are leaving.
Feminazis.
Or looking for alternatives.
Leftist Nazis.
Yeah, left and right. I mean, all sorts of
Right
different
Nazis,
types. So
left
yeah, using
Nazis.
Nazi in terms of fucking crazy fascist assholes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
them. Yeah, far more assholes on
Yeah.
Facebook than on Gab. These people are at least fucking nice. I might not agree with them all, but overall they're nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, and again, like,
There are
I would
some
like,
fucktwats,
I
though.
want to see, and I think they want to. I think what they need is they need the diversity.
Beauty and the Beast.
You know, instead of condemning this thing, I mean, then if you condemn it and you break it, okay, well, do we have an alternative? Do we have something else that's going to come up that's trying to do this, like with that sort of agenda, towards re-empowering users? Then what else do you go back to Facebook and Twitter? I mean, come on. I mean, the guy seems open. I think what he needs is some diversity in there to see how this actually functions in you know, as a true mainstream social media network. Because if it does become that, it will be populated with all sorts of left and right and progressive in the middles and
Exactly.
all sorts of stuff. So how does it work with the freedoms? Is it possible? Like it has to be proven now because it's very one-sided. So it's not really being put to the test. How will it hold up? You know, how can they moderate this idea of non-censorship? You know, how can they sustain the site? Can they have enough pro users, people that are attracted by other features? And I think the answer is yes. It just would have to be done correctly. You know, they're gonna have to make the correct business decisions as they come. But one should be just a PR campaign of like, come here for freedom of speech on the blue side, you know. come see us, come visit. Let's throw a barbecue for the left. Like, come to Gab. You know, it's
Just
your day.
advertise the
It's
hell
your
out of it
week.
for
It's your
them, yeah.
month. You know, come on.
Yeah,
We're
a
not
lot
here
of
to
these,
fight you.
I would say, you know, a lot of them, the leftists are, you know, a lot of artsy people as well. So they
Yeah, I
would
mean, we
be
need the culture
attracted
of the
to,
left. We need the non-religion
to being
of the
able to
left.
customize. That's the thing that it's like when you get there, you're putting your tweets and or whatever the hell you call. What do they? I don't even know. Your gabs.
I guess now they're
Excuse me, your
gabs.
gabs. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that I use the the correct language.
And you're now a gabber.
I'm a gabber.
Yes.
All right, got it. All right, so I do my gabs. It's just I want my page pretty. I want a reason to like have my page up and think about it and go there, and I want to be able to populate it with stuff that stays there. You know, and then the rest can keep scrolling. That's great.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to do that. Maybe that is it a pro? Are you sure it's not a pro feature?
To do what? Like customize your entire thing with like your like coding? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure if it were by now, it would be people. It would be just it'd look a whole lot different.
Yeah, because I go to everybody's page. I look at your stuff. I read your stuff.
No, there's like a standard template that you see
like stalk
everywhere
people.
on anyone's page. It's white and
Not
green. It looks
terrible.
like.
That's what we do. How we stalk people on Facebook. We go to their pages. What are you doing? Are you happy? Let's see. Let's see how happy you are. Are you making art? Are you back in the woods? Is she on vacation?
So yeah, how can you do like? How can you incorporate some sort of MySpace features? That's what our biggest thing, and get your live streaming figured out, where we can do live streaming, video chat and all that. You know, and I know that's a bandwidth money problem right now, but I think that's almost necessary. I mean that is the trend right now is live streaming. So like you got to get that in there somehow.
Yeah, if we could customize our page and have live streaming, I think it can take over the world.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I think there are no limits.
diversity.
Yeah.
Get outside of this whole Nazi definition because it's not true. But it is true that there's more Nazis, right-wing Nazis in there than left-wing Nazis. So anytime systems are off balance, it's bad for freedom. All right, peoples. Well, we want to actually commend fucking Andrew Torba. I mean, we've seen him. You know, he doesn't seem like he's getting a whole lot of sleep. We got
Man, this is like
he's taking on a really big deal.
Yeah, huge endeavor.
I think America, just like the president, I think America needs to give people a chance. If you don't want Nazis to rise out of the right, you have to figure out how to like listen to them and incorporate. Because I think they are trying to do the same thing as you.
They want a good America. You want a good America. We want a good,
unless
fun,
you're a hateful
safe
person that
America.
really doesn't want peace and really just is a racist at heart on the left or the right. A religious racist or some other form of like hate for your brother.
Free America.
Peace out. Go set up an account at GAB.ai. If you voted for Hillary, set up an account at GAB.ai.
Yeah.
They need you.
They need you.
They might not admit it. They need you. We need you.
If you really wanted Bernie and you were like,
Yes.
I'm not going to
vote. If you like
vote.
the Young Turks, get over there.
Yes. Oh my gosh. If you like the Young Turks, get over there. That place is for you. I'm telling you, it is. If you like Terrence McKenna, that place is for you. They need you so badly. Oh God! Oh my! The universe is crying out to you.
They need some third eyes in there.
Please come, connect.
All right, we'll catch y'all soon on the flip side.
Bye, y'all.